Go ahead and start. Oh, honored guests, faculty members, students, and friends of UNIBE, good evening. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is with immense joy and enthusiasm that I welcome you all to this historic evening as we launch an extraordinary new chapter for our new BBA program. Today, we reaffirm our commitment to academic excellence, internationalization, and innovation. UNIBE has always been a trailblazer in higher education, and tonight we raise the bar yet again. This evening, we introduce an unprecedented opportunity, a direct pathway for our STEAM Bachelor of Business Administration program to a master's degree at the prestigious Boston University Med College. This initiative is yet another example of how UNIBE continues to set itself apart as the leading university in the Dominican Republic, providing our students with global opportunities, competitive advantage, and world-class education. So, get ready for an inspiring night filled with excitement, exciting announcement, impactful speeches, and a glimpse into the bright future that awaits for all of you. So let's begin. To officially open this event, I have the great honor of introducing the distinguished leaders who have made this visionary collaboration possible. Please join me welcoming Dr. Vina Ortega, Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs. Also, Dr. Lorraine Amel, Vice Chancellor of Internationalization. Thank you. Dr. Leandro Félix, Executive Director of the Institutional Development Office. Thank you for being here, Leandro. Also, Ms. Diana Polanco. She is our Academic Director, the boss. also with us, our guest, honored guest from Boston University, Catherine Dornkerly. I hope I said it right. She is the Director of International Initiative at Med College, and she's going to be sharing with us all the information and all the good stuff that I wait for all of you guys. So to share a few words of inspiration and welcome me, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Lorraine Amel, Vice Chancellor of Internationalization.
Hello, good afternoon. This is a very happy moment for all of us, but especially for me. I have a story about this partnership with BU and this friendship with Kate. This partnership was our very first study abroad destination back in 2004. So it's been 21 years of a great partnership. At the bachelor level, but now today we are very happy to open a new opportunity, a new dimension to this cooperation, and we are very grateful with BU and with Kate specifically over all these years working with us and trying to think what else can we do together for the best interest of our students or graduates. So welcome everybody here. We hope you take advantage of this opportunity. You'll be the first. So it's always important, this first cohort, to have the braveness to do it and then promote for others to come. So we are very proud of this partnership and this new development. We appreciate the work, the hard work of Diana. I want to give all of you to give him an applause because with Kate, they've been working very hard to make this possible from the last year. So welcome, Kate. This is your home. Welcome again. And I hope you enjoy this night and this news as much as us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lorraine, for being with us and for being a promoter of internationalization here at UNIBE. To continue with our agenda, it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Diana Polanco, who's our Academic Director for International Strategies. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, thank you all. Estamos muy chiquitos, no nos vemos. Thank you all for being here today. Can everybody hear me right now? Good. Thank you. Ahí, sí. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you all for being here today. As Lorraine was mentioning, for me, this is a huge milestone. I think a little bit of a piece of legacy that I can leave you all as a past director for the BBA program. One of the great things that always caught into my mind is like, we are forming such an amazing talent during an undergraduate programs with our partner institutions, and what else can we give the students in this specific program that is already seasoned and mature to evolve into something else? And this is exactly what we were able to achieve. So thank you so much again to Boston University for believing in UNIBE once again, and also for providing this amazing opportunity for the students. Hopefully you will be as pleased and as excited as we are today with the things that you're gonna see. And the most important part is that we created this pathway from you, for you, in mind that it's something that you don't have to do today. You will see during the requirements and also with the scope of the program that you're going to be part of the UNIBE and the BBA program for a long period of time, and then you can take advantage of this opportunity as well. Thank you for all the alumni that are here today, Maria, Nicole, and some of you that I see here. We have other people already online that weren't able to be here either because they're back in the States or in other parts of the world. So thank you so much for being here and for taking this time to get to know about this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana, for your words and for all the hard work that you put into this. I cannot thank you enough, and on behalf of all the students, thank you, for real. Thank you so much. So, and to continue with our agenda, we have the pleasure to have Catherine Dunkerley. She is the Director of International Initiative at Med College, and she is our honor guest. She's going to be talking about this new opportunity and how you guys are going to be benefited with it. So a round of applause for her, please. Come on in.
Okay, yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening, and thank you so much for making time to come here and hear about this fantastic new collaboration. Oh, it's working. We're playing with this now. I'm going to say I want to thank UNIBE for welcoming me. When I first started at Boston University, I visited Lorraine about 16 years ago. It was my first time ever coming to the Dominican Republic. It was my first partner visit. So it was the first time I got to come and represent Boston University in the Dominican Republic. And I was sitting thinking just now, this is the first graduate degree collaboration we have in Latin America, this first collaboration like this. So I'm super excited to get to be back here to share it with UNIBE. So thank you, Dr. Lorraine. Thank you to the vice rectors. Thank you to Diana for working through this cumbersome process with BU. For all of you, I'm super excited to meet you all, to hear your questions and share with you what it's like to study at Boston University. So we're gonna go through a couple we're gonna talk about several graduate program opportunities that are available to you as UNIBE students through this partnership program. The first, and the one you heard about already, is the master's degree. So as an UNIBE student in this BBA bachelor's degree that you're pursuing, you have opportunities to pursue master's degrees in Boston with us. And in some cases, you have an accelerated track where we actually shorten the amount of time you're studying with us in Boston. And we're also applying special partnership tuition rates for you. So we're affording you some cost savings if you do choose to come study with us in Boston for a master's degree. I'll also talk about some other graduate program opportunities. So they're not master's degrees themselves, but they're shorter programs, a semester long or 2 semester long. And so they're opportunities for students who may not quite be able to commit to a full degree, but want to have an international experience. We have those opportunities for you in Boston. Okay. She is point there, right there. Yes, okay, now I've skipped a bunch. Boom, okay, I got it now. Everybody, she's figuring it out, it's happening. Yes, okay, this is the next slide. So Boston, anyone been to Boston? It's a nice place. New England, yeah, we have some, good. So as you know, Boston is a not very large cosmopolitan city in the northeastern part of the United States, in the state of Massachusetts. It is about 3 million people. It's not a gigantic international city, but it is what you would want from a big city. We have people from all over the world studying and living. We have great public transportation. It's one of the safest cities in the United States, and it's incredibly diverse. We have good public transportation, but you don't need a car. We have good airport access, lots of things to do culturally, lots of pretty decent sports teams, maybe you've heard of them. So it's a great place for young people to come and have a professional or academic experience. And Boston University, we are the 5th largest private university in the United States. We're one of the biggest universities in the Boston metropolitan area. There are about 30 colleges and universities in Boston, so it makes it a really young city, a really dynamic city. My university, Boston University, we are known for being top ranked academically. We're a comprehensive private research university. We're also known for being socially active and progressive. We were one of the first institutions to open our doctoral degrees to women. Our founders were abolitionists. We have strong ties to the civil rights movement in the United States, which happened in the 1960s and 70s. That's still a very big part of who we are. We're very proud of that. As we kind of grew in that part of our legacy, we also grew to be very international. So we are known as being a global community of learners. We're very privileged to have people from all over the world to come study with us and be part of our classrooms, be alumni, some stay to be teachers and raise their families in Boston. So that's us as an institution. I've mentioned we're a global community. About 1/3 of our students are international themselves. And then, of course, we have students from all over the US as well. Of the 36,000 students at Boston University, half of those are bachelor's degree seeking students. The other half are master's PhD level students. So we have a giant population, a giant community of graduate students in addition to our undergraduate students. Okay, yes, okay. As I mentioned, half of our student population is graduate, so we have tons of resources for students who end up coming to Boston to study with us. Graduate degrees are shorter in duration, so we do a lot of work to make sure people considering BU for graduate study are well aware in advance of all the resources and opportunities that are available to you if you come study with us for a master's degree. First and foremost, it's our Center for Career Development. That's kind of the hallmark of the Boston University experience. That center has lots of workshops, lots of trainings. They work with you on CVs and resumes and interview skills. There's tons of on-campus and online workshops and networking experience for you to grow professionally. We have a very engaged alumni community that work in tandem with our Center for Career Development. They're a huge part of your professional development as a BU student. Of course, we have the Educational Resource Center, so if you need to come to BU, get some help with your academics, that is there. 50 clubs and organizations specifically for graduate students. Those are everything from, social clubs, community service clubs, religious clubs, and also professional or academically specific clubs. We have a project management club. We have a Islamic Student Association, things like that. Anything you want to do to connect professionally or socially in Boston, there's opportunities for that. And if it's not within BU, it's definitely within the larger Boston community. Students who come on this program, they live off campus, and we have lots and lots of resources for students as they prepare to come to Boston and find places to live. I'm going to mention the lovely brochures that we have over here and over by the door. There's also candies and pens, so check it out and take some, because I don't want to take them back with me to Boston, yeah? Don't take my dog. It's for decoration. That's our mascot, okay? But the rest of the stuff, please come and take it, okay? On the back of the brochures is a QR code that has lots of resources for housing, yeah? So that's why I mention it right now. You don't need a car in Boston, really good public transportation. Some of it is provided free by the university. There's discounted public transportation passes and discounted bike passes. We take really good care of you in Boston. We make sure as a university you have lots of things that you need to be successful on the program. The last bullet is my office, Met International. If you ended up coming on one of these programs I'm going to talk about, my office would be there to support you while you are in Boston. The very top bullet, that's our graduate student resource page. This PowerPoint is going to get circulated. There's tons of hyperlinks in it, so you could take a deeper dive into everything I'm talking about. I work specifically for one of the 17 degree granting schools at Boston University. It's called the Metropolitan College. The college is known for being the largest graduate school within Boston University, and our programming is focused on applied and emerging technologies and skill sets. We do a lot of case studies and project management. And the idea is at the Metropolitan College, you're really studying things that are relevant to the current job industry. You're getting skills that are in demand as of right now, and you're learning them and can apply them at the end of the class you take, not at the end of the degree. So we really focus on the applied element of graduate studies. And the courses that we do are more specialized. So for example, you're doing a BBA. If you were going to pursue one of these graduate degrees, you would be doing a deeper dive in a specific area like supply chain management or like project management. So it's very complementary to what you studied here at UNIBE. Our faculty teach on campus and online. And I mention that because they rely very heavily on educational technology, and we really see that learners who are engaged and understand how to use that technology in their work are very successful. So if you do end up coming to study with us, be prepared to use educational technologies in ways you've never thought of. We teach all throughout the year, so the fall semester, spring semester, as well as summer. We teach online as well. Our students are a combination of full-time, part-time, on campus, online, domestic, and international. There's about 3,000 students studying at the Metropolitan College, so it's a big, diverse community of learners. Next, I'm going to talk about the Bachelor's to Master's program. That's the degree program. That's the master's degree, the Bachelor's to Master's collaboration that we have with UNIBE. So the way it works is students, as early as the last semester of your bachelor's degree, you could apply to Boston University. The way you'd be able to apply is that UNIBE, the BBA program, the administrators would nominate you. They would review your academic record, and they would say, yes, your grades are good, you'd be in a successful program like this, and they would send your name to BU and say, this student is interested, this student will apply. So then we work with the students to admit them. Once you are admitted, we review your course of study at UNIBE in juxtaposition with what you want to study at BU. And when possible, based on your undergraduate curriculum, up to 2 courses or 8 credits can be waived from your course of study at BU. So we could give you, in some instances, an accelerated track, shorten the amount of time you would spend in Boston. So the way it would work then is your first semester of study, you would take 4 classes. 4 classes, and it would be a formal certificate. And that certificate allows us to give you a special tuition rate, which is up to about 30% off regular BU tuition, which is a really substantial cost savings. And then once you finish that semester, you would complete the rest of your studies at BU and be awarded your BU master's degree. So that's kind of the sequence of how things work. And we're going to talk now about the various types of degrees that are part of this collaboration. So in the beginning, we talked about administrative sciences, computer sciences, criminal justice, and urban affairs. So what we're going to see now is a kind of sample of these degrees. These are all administrative sciences degrees. So there's a business analytics, there's financial management, supply chain, enterprise risk, project management, global marketing management. What am I missing? Global marketing, innovation and technology, right? So based on your UNIBE curriculum, I can say right now, if you successfully complete certain degrees, certain courses in your undergraduate degree, we can waive and provide you an accelerated track for the project management degree, the supply chain degree, and the financial management, right? And I mentioned before also, we're going to share this PowerPoint with you, and these are all hyperlinks to the actual curriculum. This is the thing about graduate school. You really need to do a deep dive into the different curricula to find out what you want to study, yeah? So this PowerPoint is kind of the opportunity to do that, to look at these partnership opportunities and find out which align with your professional goals and consider those degrees that way. That's why I put all the hyperlinks there. But these are sample classes you might study if you pursued these degrees. I'll tell you, for financial management and supply chain, there are optional concentrations, and there are lots of pre-labs. So for project management and for applied business analytics, there's pre-labs, and those are opportunities for you to get to use the software that you use all throughout the degree. So if you're admitted to those degrees, you get notifications to complete those online pre-labs. And you have to do that. You have to do it. It's important. It's good for you professionally, but you really need to do those pre-labs to be able to do the work in the grad degrees. So these are the Masters of Administrative Sciences options for you. Okay. And, oh, I missed computer science. Okay. So this is a Master's of Science in Computer Information Systems. So you'll see on the I'm checking my sides now because I present in a mirror usually. So you'll see on the right side is the degree core. So your first semester of study, you would be taking these as part of the degree. And then on the left side, you would be choosing a concentration or just finishing the regular degree requirements. But you do get to choose a concentration if that's of interest to you. If you were going to do this master's degree, it would be in 10 classes. You wouldn't get an accelerated track. You would have to do all 10 classes. But it's an incredible degree that you might get to switch trajectories, find something that was really different, but would combine well with your undergraduate degree in business administration. The next one is a Master's of Science in Criminal Justice. So this is an interesting one with some very interesting, relevant concentrations. On the right side, you see the first semester of study. You would do the degree core. And in the spring, you would do the specialization classes. You could choose from crime analysis, cybercrime investigation, cybersecurity, or strategic management. So for people who might be interested in a little bit of computer science or business continuity, kind of the back end of criminal justice, it's a very interesting degree to consider. This degree is a Master's of Urban Affairs, so anybody interested in sustainability or urban planning, kind of policy work, this is a really great degree opportunity. The first semester would be a certificate, either in applied sustainability or urban policy and planning, and then you would get to choose electives with academic approval, and these are just some of the sample courses that you could take, right? And again, lots of hyperlinks, so when you get your hands on the PowerPoint, you can do your deep dive. This table is a bit complicated. and it's good if you look at it, and I'll explain. I'll try, right? I'll try to explain. So I mentioned before, there's the administrative sciences degree, the degrees that you can do on an accelerated track. Those are the degrees that you can do in 2 semesters, you know? So we're talking about financial management, project management, and supply chain management. I'll also say that the criminal justice and urban affairs degrees, those can be done in 2 semesters as well. Now, when you get below there, you start talking about different combinations, right? So for applied business analytics, enterprise risk, global marketing, you need to take 9 courses. Only 1 course is waived based on what you studied at UNIBE, so you need to take 9 courses. And the best way to do that, we recommend, is for you to take an online class before you start with us in Boston. And I'll talk more about how those work in a minute. The computer information systems degree, I already mentioned this one. It would be 10 classes, and you'd have to do that in the entirety in Boston. And that's the way you can do it. You can start in January, or you can start in fall, and you'd spend about a calendar year in Boston. The last one, which is the tricky one, is the Master's in Administrative Studies with the Innovation and Technology concentration. That one is a very long degree. There are 12 classes that are part of that master's degree, and only 1 of them is waived. So to actually do this one, it takes quite a bit of coordination. We recommend you start with an online class and then take the rest of the 10 courses with us in Boston, okay? And we can ask questions about this later. Online content, it's pretty involved, and there's a reason why we're not talking to you right now about doing courses completely online. You know, like maybe, I'll do a BU master's degree completely online. We really don't recommend that because the online courses are very, very intensive and they go very, very quickly. So you see the format is each course lasts 7 weeks instead of a regular academic semester, and it's about a 20-hour-a-week workload. And you have a lot of students in your online classes, but you have a facilitator or like a teaching assistant who supports you in your learning, your group in your learning across that 7-week session. The content is mostly asynchronous, so the work you do is a lot of liaising with your team or with the instructor asynchronously. There are a few like lectures or discussion groups that are synchronous. Everybody meets at the same time. But if you can't make that, you can always watch them afterwards. The tuition is posted, and we mentioned the tuition there because it's outside of the partnership parameters. So if you do get admitted to, let's say, the innovation and technology degree, you know that to do that online class, you would be paying about $4,000 to get that course out of the way before you start your studies in Boston. Okay. The next one, which is a super important one, is the professional experience, right? So in the US, we have CPT, which is curricular practical training, and OPT, which is optional practical training. Curricular practical training, it means that the training is relevant to the actual program of study that you're doing. In the case of these programs, the CPT option, the curricular practical training option we have, is for the administrative sciences degrees, right? So project management, financial management, that first slide. You can have an internship, and it would be the 2nd semester of your master's degree. And we would work with a company, with a third party in the 1st semester to connect you with employers and find you an internship placement. So the 2nd semester of your master's degree, you could have that internship placement in Boston. Most of those internships are unpaid, but it's a 35-hour-a-week internship placement for the duration of a semester. So that's a great work opportunity for you if that's something you're interested in having as part of your graduate experience in the United States. For optional practical training, that is available to all students who successfully complete a master's degree in the United States. And it's something that you apply for in the last term of study in the US, right? So current visa regulations say that if you complete a master's degree in the US, you can apply for OPT and have up to 1 year of work authorization in the United States where you find your own employment, yeah? Some degrees are classified as STEM degrees, which we've all heard of, very exciting, and that's 2 additional years of work authorization you can apply for. The degrees I've talked about that are eligible for OPT are financial management, financial management, applied business analytics, and the Masters of Science in Computer Information System. So I referenced the Boston University International Students and Scholars Office. Maybe you've heard in the US, there's a federal agency that manages US immigration. It's called USCIS. This office at BU interprets USCIS policy. They advise all our students on the parameters of their visa and the parameters of the work authorization that goes along with their visa. So if you're interested in pursuing this, we're going to be putting you in touch with this office while you're studying with us in Boston. Okay, this is the slide. This is the costs associated with pursuing the master's degree at BU. And I will start with the top row, and that is the cost of doing a master's degree outside of an institutional partnership. So if you were just going to apply to a regular master's degree at Boston University and you didn't have any institutional partnership, this is the cost that you would pay to do that master's degree, right? So it's usually over 2 full-time semesters in a summer, and the tuition is about $75,000 US. And the cost of living is about $35,000. So it comes out to about $110,000 US. What we see underneath is the cost savings of pursuing the degree through the partnership. Now, the ones in the light blue, those are for the administrative studies degrees, and they're talking about the accelerated track. So financial management, supply chain, project management. You can do those light blue ones on that accelerated track, and those would be the costs of them. So you can see, you can start in September, you can start in January, you can start in September, do the internship from January to May, and then finish the coursework over the summer, right? The most cost savings to do this degree on an accelerated track, it's spring and summer, and it's about 50% off what a regular student would pay with the partnership tuition rates and the accelerated track. Now, the bottom 2 tracks, so that would be for the Masters of Science in Computer Information System and the Innovation and Technology degree. You would be doing at least 10 courses. The most cost savings for you would be to start those degrees in January, study over the summer, and then do 2 more courses. That being said, you can choose the track that you want. You can choose the pathway that you want. We lay it all out for you just to understand kind of the cost savings. The differential in the pricing is that your first semester of study, you get a partnership tuition rate, which right now is about 30% less of the regular tuition. Also, when you study over the summer, the tuition is lower, and we give you a tuition grant, which is about 15% off of regular tuition. So the most cost savings that you can have pursuing this degree is starting in January, whether you have 8 or 10 courses to take, okay? Cool. And sorry, this is the current year, the current academic year. So for next year, we project a 4% tuition, well, across the board, a 4% increase. Yeah? Okay. Oh, sorry, one other thing. Yeah. So if you are interested in the urban affairs or the criminal justice degrees, those always start in September. So the tuition for those degrees would always be at that price point, okay? Okay. So eligibility requirements. Well, you have to be a very clever graduate of the UNIBE BBA program, right? That was taught in English. And we are allowed to have these institutional partnerships because there are excellent institutions abroad with whom we can partner with. And so it becomes kind of a track into BU that gives us lots of clever, diverse students from all over the world. So first and foremost, you have to be a graduate of an UNIBE program, yeah, or about to graduate. We look for proof of English proficiency. So if you're nominated for this, UNIBE will give you a waiver that says your bachelor's degree was taught in English. So that is your proof of English proficiency. We've already looked at your curriculum. We know you speak English well. The next one is a GPA, a minimum of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. And you must have completed your bachelor's degree from UNIBE within 5 years of your intended start date. So you don't have to do this degree as soon as you finish your bachelor's degree. You can work for 1, 2, 3 years, get some professional experience, maybe save some money, and then pursue this opportunity in Boston. That's totally fine with us. It's actually, we think it's great for students to get some professional experience, and that's why we've opened that window. We say that there are additional requirements for computer science, administrative studies, financial management. So we take a really critical look at your grades if you're pursuing any of these degrees, because based on your grades, maybe you're not as strong in computational math or probability. And so we would change kind of your course of study based on that. So if you really are interested in any of those degrees, ask questions in advance of applying. Okay, so those were the master's degrees. That's a master's degree from Boston University. And what I'm going to talk about now are shorter programs. Maybe you don't want to go to Boston for 2 semesters, or if you do, you don't want to pay for the whole master's degree. Or maybe you just want to go for a semester. Maybe get a graduate experience in the United States and come back home. These are options too. That I'm going to speak about, and I want to start by saying there are components of master's degrees. So if you end up applying for an advanced certificate program, the credits you earn in that first semester, they can count towards a master's degree if you end up, matriculating in the master's degree during your studies in Boston or afterwards. So all of it can lead to a master's degree. It's kind of a stackable credentials kind of idea. So keep that in mind as we go through these opportunities. And the first one I'll talk about are graduate certificates. Graduate certificates, it's a 1-semester study abroad in Boston. You can do it once you finish your bachelor's degree within 5 years of your graduation date. So most of these run from September, December, January to May. Every certificate is 4 courses, 4 classes, and they're set curricula. So sometimes you have like 2 electives and 2 required courses, things like that. It really depends on the certificate. 16 credits, and they're industry specific. So, financial management, corporate finance, things like that. It's really a deeper dive in specific areas at the graduate level. And again, like I said, they are components of BU master's degrees. You have my handiwork with all of these hyperlinks. If you end up getting your hands on this, you can look at the curricula specifically. But these are a list of all the administrative sciences certificates, criminal justice certificates as well, food studies, so that's gastronomy, arts marketing, arts management, lots of computer science certificates, and then we have the applied sustainability, urban policy and planning. A lot of these have prerequisites. So obviously the computer science certificates might have prerequisites. You'll have to have some programming experience, be very good at math. Criminal justice, if you're interested in the cybercrime investigation, there's some computer programming prerequisites. We can tell you all about this. The other thing I'll say is not every certificate runs every semester. So if you're really interested in one, be in touch with our office and we can tell you, when these run, so you can plan accordingly. These are some curriculum examples. So let's say you wanted to do the project management certificate. There would be 2 required courses, the project management and project communication and leadership, and then you'd have 2 electives, a short list of electives you could choose with academic advisement. If you wanted to do the applied sustainability, there are 2 required courses and then 2 specialization courses. Arts management is another example. So basically, again, it's a curriculum, and you're following the curriculum, and it usually means at least 2 required courses and then electives for the other 4, to round out the 4. Now, advanced certificates. These are fun. We like these. We're going back to the administrative sciences, right? So these are all the administrative science certificates. And the way it could work here is you would come and do a certificate, let's say, in investment analysis. In that second semester, immediately following your certificate, you could be placed in that internship. So it's kind of, we call it an advanced certificate, where you just come 1 academic semester and then the internship experience. So it's a 2-semester program, and you would be placed in that first semester. You'd have an internship confirmed, and then the second semester, you would work a full-time internship in Boston. It would be a credit-bearing internship, so there's a tuition cost associated with it, but it would be an opportunity for you to live in Boston, have a professional experience in the city. And usually the internships are unpaid. So we'll go back to this slide. The other thing that's interesting is, as of right now, the advanced certificate students who, if you complete this program, you can apply for OPT, you can apply for work authorization in the United States. And that's really dependent upon the US immigration policy or the F1 visa policy at the time. So if this was something you wanted to do, we would have you connect with our International Student Scholar Office that first semester you're studying with us. So I've talked about the OPT, I've talked about the CPT, same kind of parameters apply. Okay, we're getting to the end. Thank you everybody for hanging in there with me, right? So eligibility requirements, they're the same. You need to be a graduate of the BBA, taught in English here at UNIBE, same GPA requirements. And for some of these certificates, there are additional requirements we need to check out, see if you can waive those requirements or adjust the curriculum. This is the tuition. And you see there's $35,002. That's the regular BU tuition for 1 semester. And then what we do is afford you the partnership tuition, which is less than 50% of the regular tuition. So that's the substantial cost savings that we can give to you as a partner student. This is our way of giving some measure of financial aid to make it more accessible for some of our partner students to come study with us in Boston. The advanced certificate tuition is different because it's over 2 semesters. So you'll see that's why the tuition is higher. The regular BU tuition will be $38,000, almost $39,000 US, whereas a partner student would pay a little less than $20,000. Cost of living is all mapped out there for you. These are all of your costs in Boston. Pocket money, books and supplies, health insurance, meals, renting an apartment, utilities, university fees. That's everything that you would expect to spend if you lived in Boston for 1 or 2 semesters. So that are those shorter programs if they're of interest to you. This is kind of the overview of the admissions process. So if you did end up applying for this program, you would start with UNIBE. They would really look at your academic record and advise you as to whether it would be appropriate for you to pursue this program. We want students who will be successful on the program. That's why we always connect with their undergrad institution and look for their nomination. So let's say you're nominated, UNIBE thinks you'd be a good candidate for these degrees. You would receive an email from BU saying, hey, we know you're nominated, and we'd help you with your application process. You'd be admitted, and at your time of admission, you'd be admitted, assuming, UNIBE says you're good, your transcript says you're good, our academic advisors admit you, right? When you are admitted, we look at your transcript to verify that you have done the coursework at UNIBE that might warrant an accelerated master's degree. So when you're admitted, we map out your course of study and take into consideration any waivers from the curriculum review that we did. So at your time of admission, we identify whether you pursue the entire degree or you pursue it on an accelerated track. And then we start collecting all your documentation to issue you an I-20, which is what you use to get your F1 visa, which you use to come to Boston. And of course, you have an orientation. You actually have multiple orientations because we're so excited to have you in Boston. We make you come to lots of orientations where you meet our staff, Med International, your fellow students, the academic faculty and staff who are all there. Make sure you're aware of all the resources and supports that you have to make the most of your time in Boston. So that's the overview of the admissions process. And these are BU's application and semester dates, right? So for students who want to come start with us in September, we look for them to apply by April 15th. We have a little bit of flexibility in the spring if students have extenuating circumstances, but we usually look to have students apply to start in September, no later than the end of April. And of course, the first week of September is when our semester starts, and the third week of December is when it ends. For students who want to come study with us starting in January, we look for them to apply no later than October 1st. And then the semester starts the third week of January and goes through the second week of May. If you're studying over the summer, these are the dates you'll be in Boston for taking classes. It's the third week of May through the second week of August. Yes. She finished. That's it. So those are, yes, everybody's ready to clap, and I like it. This is my office's contact information, but if y'all have questions, you're connecting with the office here at UNIBE. This is our social media, so when you get this presentation, check out our social media, because it gives you a good picture of what's going on in Boston. And now I'm finished, and I can answer questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for all your information. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna now, guys, open a Q&A session. If you guys have any questions, Catherine is here to answer. Girls, if you can help me with the microphones. In that way they... Questions. Jesus have a question.
All right. Yes, questions.
Right here, sorry. We have a QR code. We have, if you go to the QR, you're gonna have a flyer with like a summary of everything she has covered for today. So I invite you to take a quick look at that. It has a PDF document with a little bit like of information of everything she has covered for tonight.
Thank you. Okay, who's got a question for me? Hit me.
Hello,
Hi,
I have a question.
where are you?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hello.
I love your earrings.
Thank
They're
you.
good, yeah.
I have a question. I want to know if the university has any opportunity for scholarship for us, the BBA
Yes,
student.
that's a good question. So I mentioned earlier, we offer that partnership tuition rate. That's the way that we can make this program more accessible for you. The university beyond that doesn't have a lot of scholarships for international students. The students who do end up coming, if they do get scholarships, it's usually through a national government, through their employer, or through a lending kind of organization. So, and that's another reason why we kind of offer the different tracks for you, because there are more accessible ways to do the degree. We want to make sure you have all that information if you're really considering it. That's a good question. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi.
If I get to do a certificate, do I get an OPT?
Good question. So if you did a graduate certificate, would you get OPT? The answer, unfortunately, is no, because it is not long enough to be awarded, to apply for OPT. Your program needs to be 2 semesters or terms of study. So if you did the advanced certificate, which is the certificate plus the internship, that is over 2 semesters. And as of right now, that would allow you to apply for OPT. But the certificate by itself, right now, no.
So it's 2 semesters.
2 semesters, yes.
And are OPT paid?
And sorry, OPT placement?
No, paid. Do I get paid?
Oh, okay. So do you get paid for OPT? That's a good question. So OPT placements are up to the student to find those placements. So you have to identify an employer who can host you, and yes, you should get paid for OPT. You can start OPT doing kind of an internship type arrangement, but ultimately, if you're using OPT, you're in a position that's going to pay you. Your employer can pay you. But it's something the students have to find themselves. Boston University doesn't do placements for optional practical training. The only placements we do is for the advanced certificate internship, that second semester. Thank you. Good question.
I wanted to add something there. Normally, when you do a CPT, which is the practical training that you do within a class during that second semester, the opportunity for you to get towards an OPT is much higher.
Right.
If you take me as an example, I was able to do my internship in a company, and that company hired me for my OPT process. Then they did offer me to do like the H-1 visa, and I say I'm ready to go back home. But once that company, which is a guarantee that she didn't mention, one of the things about Boston University and the advanced certificate is that they work with a third-party company that specific CPT in the advanced certificate, it is guaranteed. That doesn't mean that they will pay you, but
Right.
you will have a place in a specific company within your business field in the things that you're interested of.
Right.
So that is a much higher opportunity for you to continue in an OPT.
Yeah.
And remember, if you do something like supply or financial management
Yeah.
or something like that, that OPT can transfer between 1 year up to 3 years.
Right.
So that's kind of like this. So
Yeah.
once you have that guaranteed CPT, you have a much better chance to actually end up getting an OPT afterwards.
Right. That's a great point. Thank you. The other thing I'll add as we wait for the next question, the other thing about OPT is you don't have to do OPT in Boston. You can do it anywhere where you have found employment. So you're not bound to New England to do your OPT. If you end up finding a company in Florida or Texas and you want to pursue it there, that's no problem. You just have to maintain your OPT status and keep BU informed, because we are still technically the sponsorship of that degree. Great. All right. What else we got?
I have a question.
Yes.
I know that not all universities, when you're doing your master's in the U.S., are accredited. What accreditations does your master's have?
Ooh, this is a good question. So this is a question about the accreditations, Boston University's accreditations. So I like this one. So in the United States, to be accredited by the federal government, you have to go through an accreditation process with a regional organization. Our accreditation body is the New England Higher Education Council. So Boston University is accredited by the New England Higher Education Council, and that means we're recognized by the federal government as an institution of higher education in the United States. We are also recognized as a top-tier research institution, and that's a group of about 40 institutions, and BU is one of them. BU has an AACSB accreditation and a project management accreditation, and those apply specifically to the Metropolitan College program. So the management degrees that we teach at Met and the project management degrees that are taught in computer science as well as management, those have a project management accreditation. So those are the accreditations that I can think of off the top of my head. We'll pursue another accreditation for sustainability, but that'll probably be in about 3 years. I think my colleagues here at UNIBE know accreditations take so much time. It's really challenging, but it does indicate a certain caliber of programming. It means, you're taught, people can assess the caliber of your program pretty simply if you've met these accreditation standards. So we're happy to say we have several. And if you need more information, you can email me. Sound good? Thank you.
Yes,
ahead.
Kate. Remember that ASESP, the one that she mentioned, is only granted to 5% worldwide to business schools. So you have to be in the level, and according to our other partnerships and the dual degree for undergraduate, they have the same type of accreditation. One thing that I want to mention that I think it's important that if you didn't pick it up in the presentation, I will put an emphasis on. Hola, Camilo. Sorry, didn't see you before. So it's interesting that whatever we work together with Boston University is to make sure that we have our program, like the BBA program at UNIBE, accredited.
Yeah.
Which means that the validation we have as a bachelor's to master's program is within UNIBE and Boston University. So if, well, Maria and Nicole and Camilo, they all went to FIU, that's great. But you don't have to go to FIU or WMU
Right.
in order to do this, okay?
Right.
So for active students, if you decided to finish at UNIBE, because life throws you different things in front of you, but you still want to have that international component, you might decide in order to say, no, I want to pursue the bachelor to master's, and I want to put my money and time into getting a master's in the States. For 1 year, it's kind of like a very similar component to what you do in your undergrad. So just making sure that whatever has been validated here, it's the UNIBE degree. I think it's important, and it brings a lot of value that all of our students, or I would say 99% of our students, decided to go towards a dual degree in the undergraduate level, but that is not mandatory for this process, okay? So just, if you didn't pick it up during the presentation, I just want to make sure that that is clear as well.
Yes, thank you.
You want to say something?
Quick question. So project management.
Yes.
Going for the US side.
For sure.
So you get the accreditation for project management. Does it also work through PMI to be able to get that project management professional along with it?
Right, yes.
So does that come from the university, or is that still separate and parallel?
Yeah, so we teach the PMI curriculum. That's part of the master's degree and the certificate program. And there's a PMI, ooh, did I do that? No, it was you. Okay, so our faculty are kind of instrumental in kind of building that association. So the project management content that you get, it's top notch, it's well regarded in the United States. If you wanted that PMP certification or that professional credential, what you study at BU counts as credit hours towards sitting for that exam. Yeah. So and in some cases there are exam preps at the end of the semester that students can be a part of to make sure that, I mean, if you've gone through the degree, you're ready for the credential exam. But if someone has done it part-time, then they can sign up for one of those test preps to make sure that they are successful and get that professional credential, which is highly regarded in the United States. I mean, right now, one of the biggest market, people are seeking project managers, and it's project managers who have this credential of taking coursework in project management because it's such a versatile system. It applies through multiple industries, from engineering to, education, higher education, public policy. It's really one of the most versatile skill sets that you can have as a professional. And thank you for bringing it up. Okay, other questions? Yes.
Hi again. I have a question in regards to the 5-year start date, because it was mentioned that you can only apply through this program. For instance, with I started in 2023.
Yeah.
And I plan to graduate from UNIBE and FIU, which I would graduate 2027.
Yes.
Does that mean that I can't be a part of this program after 2028?
No. It means if you graduate in 2027, you have until oh my gosh, I don't even want to do this math. 2032 to do this degree. You have 5 years after your bachelor's degree is conferred, right? So once you graduate from UNIBE, the clock starts for those 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like you said, once you graduate from UNIBE, we graduate from FIU first and then UNIBE.
Remember, as I mentioned, whatever is conferred is the UNIBE degree. So for your situation specifically, if you graduate, let's say from FIU, taking your example, in the summer of 2027, you graduate with UNIBE in November of 2027.
Yeah.
November 2027, and then 5 years after that is when is a time frame that you can apply to this process.
Right.
After you get your diploma from UNIBE.
Right.
And then, sorry, also
No,
another
yeah,
question.
I love it. This one's good. She's like the
For
ringer.
U.S. citizens
Yes.
applying through this program, does this mean, because I know that Boston University should have portals, are we able to apply for scholarships through those graduate portals?
As a U.S. citizen, yes, there's federal financial aid you can apply for, and there might be additional scholarships you could apply for. I'm not well acquainted with them because I mostly work with international students. But yes, as a U.S. citizen, as of right now, there are more scholarship opportunities for you to consider, to apply for, yeah?
And are master students also allowed to go through the career networking system at
Yes,
BU?
they are. So that's a very good question. If you're a master's degree student, if you are enrolled in a master's degree, you have access to the Career Development Center and all the resources there. If you start this program as a certificate or advanced certificate student, because you're not coded yet as a master's degree student, you wouldn't necessarily have access to all those things. So that's something to consider as well. That's a very good question. You're very good. I'd bring you to all my information sessions. What else?
I wanted to mention, adding to what you just mentioned, remember that you already have a discounted tuition based on this agreement. So whatever scholarship that you're able to get after that, it will be in top of that. So that's important to know. So you're not gonna miss a chance of, you got your discounted tuition between 30 to 50%, depending on what type of program you decided to do. In that case, that remains untouched, and then you can add any scholarships after that. Okay, so that's important to mention. It's not
Thank
like,
you.
oh, if you're here, then you take this away and then put
Right.
that.
No,
So it's
yeah.
important. Questions?
Other questions?
Don't be shy.
Yeah. It's because I was so thorough, right? It's because you're tired.
Yes, you were, by the way. You want to add something?
I'm going to say again, we have brochures up front and we have candy and pens, and you need to take them. You need to take all of them with you when you leave, and it'll be great. And I thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much for all the information, and what an incredible evening we have had. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for giving our students all this information. Tonight has been a great night, and this collaboration between UNIBE and Boston University is more than just a program. It's a game changer, right? It put us once again ahead of the game. So, un aplauso para UNIBE, para el BBA. And we're almost done. We're almost done, but I just want to say there are some refreshments right downstairs for all of you guys, so take that. Also, we have some goodies from Boston University. Take those too, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you so much.